Alright guys, welcome to another video and we are talking about Poco X3 Pro and Crdroid 8.6. Now it's been a long time that a lot of you Poco X3 Pro users have been requesting me to use this ROM to try it and give you guys a review. And now I know why. I've been using it since the last 3 to 4 days. I've been gaming on it this morning. I played BGMI and Apex Legends both, and the splendid results are going to talk about a lot of potential of this ROM, and this is the complete review of official Crdroid 8.6. But before we get into the details, if you haven't already, please subscribe because it doesn't cost you anything and it really motivates us to make amazing content like this. Now without further ado, hello awesome people, welcome to PhoneOps. My name is Kailash. Let's get going. So first things first, as always, let's go ahead and talk about the amount of changes that these guys have made, and they're putting in a lot of effort. Now, I really think the Poco X3 Pro is a very lucky and blessed device because not only Crdroid, almost all the leading custom ROM developers are putting in so much effort to give the amount of features, stability and customization to this device that it is just unparalleled. Anyways, Crdroid 8.6 official Poco X3 Pro YU Beamer Android 12.1 is the version we are talking about here, and this was updated on the 15th of June 2022. Now, it has been updated to 8.6 June security patch, redesigned game space overlay, we'll talk about that, fixed scrolling issue in recent overview, so let's test that right away. And there's this new sort of up and down animation that we have, and it's really subtle and beautiful. Now, fixed an issue with visibility of few options in recent, added toggle to disable top shadow in launcher home screen, added new themed icons for launcher, fixed issues on certain apps like Netflix with CRT scale on off animations, use app icon for per app volume, very nice, added toggle to disable per app volume options, switch to AOSP NFC, who uses that? At least not me. Anyways, addressed various SE policy denials when setting props, upstream to 4.14.282. That's the Linux kernel they're talking about. And this is of course OSS based, does not include GApps. So you have to flash GApps. I used mind the GApps, okay? Firmware 12.0 onwards, SE Linux is enforcing and safety net should be passing. Now, we are running in a 120 Hz only mode and the brightness is not full over here. Let's increase that a little bit. Yeah. So the moment you boot into this particular ROM, you will notice that they've done a splendid job because now you have your own icon pack, your own wallpaper, a lot of stuff going on over here. This one definitely is AOSP, but it looks a little different and does offer you a ton of customization options. Now, right off the bat, you will notice that you do have two camera applications. Now, the first one is Gcam, and this itself is pretty decent. Ignore my face there. Anyways, just kidding. This itself is pretty decent. This is a portrait clicked in this particular ROM's Gcam and it's working fine, right? As you can see. Now, there is one more camera application and that is really interesting for me. Reason being, we are talking about ANX camera. So, wide angle, working. 2x zoom, working. Portrait, well, let's click a picture. Works fine. Portrait at the front. There you go. Works fine. I know I'm clicking random pictures, but that's okay. These modes are definitely present and they're working fine. You also have 1080p 30 FPS recording. So that is one thing that is a little hit and miss, but that's okay, I guess, because you're getting the complete experience of ANX camera. And how often do we make videos on our smartphones, right? Now, if you go to more, you do have the 48 megapixel mode. So let's go ahead and click this. Let's click this again. Let's go to the details. And the resolution is 8 by, okay, so it's a 8 MB photo, which means the 48 megapixel mode is working as well. So you have a almost fully functional ANX camera working like a charm on an AOSP based custom ROM. How wonderful is that? Not only that, this ROM does come with amazing goodies like unlimited Google Photo storage and higher FPS in gaming. Now, 90 FPS gaming in BGMI. Stay put till the end of the video and look at that clip. You'll be shocked and surprised how good a job this particular ROM is doing in gaming at 90 FPS, right? Now, to the left, of course, you do have Google Feed, which in its 120 Hz glory is working butter smooth. Y'all have been requesting me to make videos at 60 FPS. So that's why we are doing 1080p 60, because Unfortunately, our camera cannot handle 4K 60. Anyways, that's a discussion for another day. But as you can see, Google Feed is butter smooth. The whole UI is very, very snappy and it works like a charm. So I don't have any complaints over there. And if you talk about quick tiles, now this is one area wherein Crdroid itself is doing a splendid job. That is customization and stability. Now, when you talk about quick tiles, just look at this list. I mean, of course, I'm not going to go through the entire list, and you can explore that by flashing this ROM yourself on your YU or Beamer. And please don't ask me if your device will be bricked or not by flashing this ROM. It's a hardware issue, not related to software. And recently, Poco India have announced that Poco X3 Pro users will get 6 months extra warranty, which is splendid, superb, amazing. Now I can explore the full potential of my ROM, of my device once again without worrying about it being bricked. Now quickly, let's talk about the quick tiles. You have caffeine, FPS info, all these things are present. And yeah, I mean, just look at this, the amount of options that you have. You also have a tile for MI sound enhancer. FPS info can be enabled. As you can see, it is running in 120 Hertz. If we talk about the screen recorder, well, you can record internal and external audio. I did use the built-in screen recorder to record games, and I did not, I repeat, I did not notice any performance penalty. So a couple of weeks back, I did tell you that Dubfest is probably the best ROM you should use on the Poco X3 Pro. Well, now what I have to say is Dubfest has stopped getting updates for whatever reason. And this guy, Crdroid, is getting a lot of updates. And this is personally my favorite USB ROM because of the amount of customization and stability that it has. So let's quickly go ahead and start screen recording. And let's see how good the external audio can be recorded on this particular device with this ROM. Now, as you can see, the smoothness is still there. I have enabled this dot. You can, of course, move it to different corners. Let's go ahead and stop the screen recording here. Let's see how long it takes to process the screen recording. Bam. Okay. Wow. It is doing a splendid job recording the external audio as well. So that's pretty amazing, right? We'll talk about gaming. Don't worry. Okay. Now, apart from this, if you talk about this ROM, you don't really have a lot of bloatware and everything is working absolutely fine. You go to the Play Store, you check for your banking application necessities, you have device as certified. Widevine L1 is present. That means you can, of course, watch Amazon Prime in HD, Netflix in HD. Pretty splendid stuff there, right? Now let's quickly go to settings because we have a lot to explore and we're already nearing 8 to 9 minutes of video. Anyways, let's go to about phone and let's go to Android version. Now this is of course Crdroid 8.6 with June security patch, and the kernel is the Sigma kernel version 1.0. Pretty splendid stuff, at least in gaming and benchmarks, pretty decent numbers, and yeah, they're doing a great job. Now in here you will find that everything is Android 12-esque. Okay, I mean, you do have thermal profiles over here. As you can see, I've set it to benchmark and default and gaming for BGMI. So yeah, I'll set Apex to gaming as well. Maybe my experience will improve, right? So let's talk about the battery usage over here. Now this dip that you see, that was because of gaming and stuff, and I did receive around 6 to 7 hours of screen on time constantly across 2 days, 3 days, because most of the time this device was on standby. Charging features are working absolutely okay, so I have no issues. And as you can see, design capacity, current battery capacity, it's displaying that incorrectly, but that's okay. I mean, device manufacturers themselves are not giving these features correctly. At least the custom ROM community is trying. Wallpaper and style, well, Monet in the house and doing a splendid job here. Let's change the wallpaper and bam, immediately the whole UI starts looking different, which is a splendid thing, right? Now, these are all the things which are present in almost all custom ROMs because these are Android 12 goodies and Android 12 stuff that we're talking about. But the moment you go to Crdroid settings, you will see you have status bar customization, you do have quick settings, lock screen, navigation, buttons, user interface, notifications, sound, miscellaneous. Ooh, that's a long list, right? Swipe to screenshot with expanded screenshot is present and you can definitely use it. Unlimited photo storage can be enabled or disabled. Unlock higher FPS in games can be enabled or disabled. And now, while we are at it, let's go to game space and just look at the amount of options you have over here. Now, with that said, before I proceed further, to briefly look at the settings of Crdroid, I'm quickly going to show you, say, about 2 to 3 minutes of gameplay, which is Apex Legends and BGMI with the FPS counter. And let's start watching those clips now.
Reloading. Getting shot at. Reloading. Getting shot at. Outside right here. Getting shot. They're dropping. Downed another. You got the party started. The second squad hitting my ass. Down subject. Subject down. Recharging shields. I got a bit. I took care of it, don't worry. Contact with target. My ultimate's ready. I am taking fire. Firing. More enemies down.
Alright, so as you saw there in classic Erangel as well, 90 FPS, this guy was doing a splendid job. So yeah, 90 FPS gaming on Poco X3 Pro is possible, at least with this ROM. I don't know about, custom matches and last zone and stuff like that. But for normal gaming in BGMI 90 FPS, this is doing a splendid job. Apex Legends, I did have some issues. There were quite a lot of frame drops, but then again, I was playing that on the highest settings. Still, I was able to get a pretty good experience. Now, talking about Crdroid settings, once again, it does give you a, huge list of customization, which will be endless. I mean, there's so much to talk about that I can make a dedicated video on customization of Crdroid. Let me know in the comment section if you want me to make one such video. But for now, what I can tell you is this is a splendid ROM. You can use it as a daily driver, making calls, voice over Wi-Fi. I've not had any problems at all. The camera clarity, including ANX camera and Gcam, is splendid. You do get a pretty good experience, but let's talk about the benchmark numbers, because that's what will give you a hint of what the performance is exactly like, right? So let's quickly go to Google Photos over here. Now, as you can see, the CPU throttled to just 92% of its max performance, and the average score was 188,939 GIPS with a max score of 201,428 GIPS. So almost no throttling there. If we talk about Antutu benchmark, the numbers are pretty splendid here as well. 593,183. The temperature increased by 7 degrees and the battery dropped by 3%. And if we further talk about Geekbench single core and multi-core score, let's see here, 762 single core, 2633 multi-core. So splendid scores in benchmarks, amazing gaming experience, great battery life. I think we've just found one of the best ROMs for the Poco X3 Pro. You can try it for gaming, you can try it for daily usage. Let me know in the comment section what do you think about Crdroid for the Poco X3 Pro. Until the next one, this is Kailash signing off at PhoneOps. Keep smiling. Take care. Goodbye.